Inside sources are now warning that if Andrew and Sarah find themselves completely cast out, Fergie might finally break her silence and expose royal secrets that have stayed buried for decades. And while palace insiders doubt Andrew would ever sell his story the way Harry did, they cannot say the same about Sarah Ferguson. Today, we are looking at a royal crisis that has escalated far beyond what anyone anticipated just weeks ago, because multiple sources confirm that Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and Sarah Ferguson are no longer just holding their ground. They are unraveling. And for the first time in this entire saga, senior royals have quietly begun monitoring the situation from the shadows. This is no longer the stubborn resistance we witnessed months ago. This is not the arrogant posture Andrew once maintained in public. What we are seeing now is fear, instability, and reactions that palace watchers are describing as deeply concerning. According to those close to the situation, the environment within Royal Lodge has fundamentally shifted. The pressure has intensified. Reports describe heated late-night exchanges, Sarah confiding desperately in the remaining loyal staff, Andrew pacing endlessly through empty rooms, both of them confronting the reality that the world they fought to preserve is collapsing around them. But here is where it gets fascinating. Recent images captured Andrew riding across the Windsor grounds, appearing completely broken. His head lowered, posture collapsed, the very picture of a man defeated. Yet experts in body language are suggesting this visible anguish might be something else entirely. They believe Andrew has adopted a new strategy, that this sudden display of misery could be performance art aimed squarely at influencing one person, King Charles. The first significant piece of information comes from Robert Jobson, a royal correspondent with decades of experience covering the family. When asked directly whether Andrew and Sarah are handling recent events well, Jobson responded plainly, "Not very well, I don't think." He added that members of the royal household have grown worried about the couple's psychological state. Think about what that reveals. The same institution that stripped Andrew of his royal roles, erased his public standing, and demanded he vacate Royal Lodge is now actively watching how severely he and Sarah are deteriorating. Make no mistake, this is not compassion. This is strategic monitoring. When two individuals with a history spanning decades of controversy suddenly show signs of emotional breakdown, the palace takes notice, not to offer comfort, but to manage potential consequences. The monarchy will not step in out of kindness. It will act to safeguard itself, to protect the crown's image, to shield the institution, and to prevent further public humiliation. And if you want to catch every development in this story as it continues to unfold, hit that subscribe button now and turn on notifications, because the next revelation could drop at any moment, and you will not want to be the last to know. Behind the walls of Royal Lodge, the strain is becoming impossible to hide. One insider revealed to the press that Andrew and Sarah have been overheard engaging in urgent, emotionally charged discussions about their future. Are they preparing to release information the palace would rather stay hidden? Sarah, according to sources, is in crisis mode, anxious, emotionally fragile, reaching her breaking point. She has reportedly been turning to the small circle of staff who remain sympathetic to her, sharing wine-fueled evenings where she unloads her anxieties and fears. This is the image of someone losing her grip, someone clinging desperately to whatever fragments of normality remain. And do not forget, Sarah has suffered significant losses of her own. Charitable organizations distance themselves from her. Her connection to the York name has been tarnished. Her reputation, already scarred by past missteps, has now been dragged down further by Andrew's scandals. She is not simply standing by him. She is sinking alongside him. Now, let us talk about those photographs. After weeks of speculation over whether Andrew would actually be forced out of Royal Lodge, he was photographed once again riding through the cold Windsor estate. And the image told a story, head bowed low, shoulders sagging, gaze locked downward. A man stripped of everything, facing exile. To the casual observer, it might appear to be a moment of rare humility. Except body language analyst Judy James is not convinced. She describes the entire scene as staged, intentional, a calculated effort to project suffering. She points out something critical. Andrew's riding posture is completely wrong. Someone who has spent a lifetime on horseback sits upright instinctively. Their body knows the position. The slumped, collapsed posture Andrew displays is not what an experienced rider does naturally, which prompts the obvious question. Was this a genuine candid moment, or was it carefully orchestrated? Judy James also notes that the photographs themselves are remarkably polished. The focus is sharp, the background softly blurred, the framing almost deliberate. These do not resemble chaotic paparazzi shots. They look composed, almost as if someone wanted them to look exactly this way. So what does that suggest? If Andrew is indeed performing, the reason is transparent. He wants sympathy. He wants to soften public opinion. And perhaps most importantly, he wants to convince King Charles that pushing him any further would be cruel, that he is too emotionally fragile to withstand more pressure. Another troubling detail has surfaced. Staff members have reportedly witnessed Andrew wandering the halls of Royal Lodge, talking to himself, visibly agitated. This is the behavior of someone backed into a corner, someone who has lost the single thing he has depended on his entire life, a sense of untouchable privilege. Because here's the harsh reality. Andrew has never lived with consequences. He has floated above accountability for decades. And now that consequences have finally arrived, he does not possess the tools to cope. Together, Andrew and Sarah present the image of two individuals finally confronting what the public recognized years ago. Their royal protection is gone. Their status has evaporated. For decades, they survived scandal after scandal because their titles served as armor. Now that armor has been stripped away, and without it, they are exposed and spiraling. Now here is what truly matters. The royal family has reportedly intervened, not because they care about Andrew and Sarah's well-being, but because they are afraid that Andrew and Sarah are becoming volatile at the worst possible time, when the monarchy cannot afford another crisis. Afraid that the combination of eviction, humiliation, and relentless scrutiny might push them toward reckless actions. Afraid that if this situation is not carefully controlled, it could produce a scandal even more damaging than anything we have seen so far. So we must ask, what do they know? Is there more information being held back? The palace understands that if a crisis is not managed behind closed doors, it will explode into public view. So this quiet intervention is not a rescue mission, it is containment. And that alone tells us how seriously the institution is taking this situation. So here we have two people who once existed at the center of royal privilege, now desperately holding on to the remnants of a life that has already slipped away. Whether Andrew's visible distress is authentic or manufactured remains a matter of interpretation. But what cannot be denied is that something fundamental inside Royal Lodge has changed, something the palace is monitoring with extreme care. So here is what I want to know. Do you believe Andrew's broken appearance is genuine? Or do you think he is once again playing the public for sympathy? Do you think Sarah is truly on the edge, or is this just another chapter in their ongoing saga? And here's the bigger question. Why have these two remained so closely connected for so long, even after their marriage ended? Drop your answers in the comments below. I want to hear what you think. But there is one final piece of this puzzle that cannot be ignored. The relationship between Andrew and Sarah has always been one of the strangest dynamics in modern royal history. Officially divorced for decades, yet living side by side. Never fully together, never fully apart. For years, observers have asked the same question. Why did neither of them ever truly move on? Why have they remained bound to one another long after the marriage dissolved? One theory circulating among royal insiders is that their connection is not rooted in romance or even loyalty. It is rooted in shared knowledge, the kind of knowledge that is inconvenient to discuss, the kind that is safer kept between two people who were present for the same events, who witnessed the same behavior, who know the same uncomfortable truths. In other words, they may remain close because each understands exactly what the other could reveal. And in a family where image is everything, that kind of knowledge can tie two people together more powerfully than love ever could, which is why this current unraveling is so significant. If the pressure continues to mount, if the walls continue to close in, the question is not simply how Andrew and Sarah will survive emotionally. The real question is what happens if one of them decides there is nothing left to lose. Because when two people who have protected each other's secrets for this long begin to fracture, the consequences can spread far beyond Royal Lodge, and the palace is acutely aware of that risk. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. This situation is accelerating, and I will be tracking every twist as it develops. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you are always first to know when the next piece of this story breaks. Thank you for watching.